Hey there guys, I finally got my new backdrop together. I know it's been a while, but yeah, I was feeling a little bit productive this week. I had nothing better to do, and it's January, and there ain't shit to talk about besides my top 10 favorite movies of last year, and then give it a few days, and I'll talk about my top 10 worst movies of last year. That'll be a good time, so look out for that video in a few days, but here we go. Here's my top 10 movies of 2021.
Hey, yo, I don't know about that. You gonna put a movie almost 35 years old on your top 10 list of 2021? I must break you.
Yeah, I like to play with toys in the bathtub or in front of you guys, but number 10 on my list is going to be Rocky IV, Rocky vs. Drago, the Stallone cut, because if Zack Snyder can do it, well, so can Sylvester Stallone. When it comes to Rocky IV, I've always really enjoyed the film. I don't think it's the best Rocky movie by any means, but it's essentially just training montages and 80s rock ballads. And there's nothing wrong with that. And every time I watch this movie, it makes me want to do stuff like this right here. I'm sorry you had to watch that, but that's how much I like Rocky IV, and going into this new cut of Rocky IV, I did not expect to put it in my top 10 of 2021, but after watching it and seeing these cuts and these improvements that Stallone added into the film, it gave it way more heart and way more character motivation this time around, and it just made it a better movie. I'm looking for Drago's head, like his head literally fell off. Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds playing, well, Ryan Reynolds, and there's nothing wrong with that. And also, it was sort of like the live action The Lego Movie, except with video game references, but nevertheless, I really enjoyed the movie. And technically speaking, this is a video game movie, and I would say this is probably one of the best video game movies ever made, right beside like Mortal Kombat, which I still think is the best video game movie ever made. Here it is. I found Drago's head, and before we continue on, I'm going to give a quick mention to the sponsor of this video because they help make videos possible, so let's go to my kitchen. Big thanks to Cometeer for partnering with me on this video. Hey there guys, welcome to my morning coffee spot. This is, well, my living room slash kitchen, but this is where I wake up every morning when the sun's slowly rising and drink a delicious cup of Cometeer coffee. And before I discovered Cometeer coffee, the brewing process was always a hassle. It was messy, it was clunky, I had to set things up. And on top of that, whenever I wanted iced coffee, I would have to leave my house, drive 10 minutes to the local coffee shop, wait in line for another 25 minutes, and when you add up how much that cost every day, it's not cheap. Cometeer isn't like other coffee. Cometeer is barista quality coffee brewed better through science and flash frozen to lock in flavor and freshness. And the world's first 100% curbside recyclable aluminum capsule. Cometeer partners with the best regional specialty coffee roasters. Cometeer grinds and brews to perfection, then immediately flash freezes the coffee to lock in freshness and provide a delicious coffee experience. Just add 8 ounces of hot water or pour it over cold water for iced coffee or milk for a latte. It comes right to my door frozen in fully curbside recyclable packaging. The best thing about Cometeer is it's convenient and tastes great. And it saves time and money. No need to drive to the coffee shop to get consistently great tasting coffee when I can just make it at home. And also you can discover new flavors like this right here. And once again, I'm a huge fan of iced coffee and you don't need any special equipment to make this. For a limited time, Cometeer has a special offer for fans of my channel. You can get $20 off your first purchase, plus free shipping when you click my link. That's 10 free cups of coffee and over 30% off. That is a tasty beverage, so check out the link down below, guys. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to the video. Next up is The Last Duel, and probably the last time we'll ever see a movie like this be released theatrically, because this movie made no money. No one went to go see this movie, and there's a huge controversy with Ridley Scott blaming people for not wanting to see movies like this, and blah, 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 but I love me a good epic time period movie, and for the most part, that's what this movie was. But there's also a lot of things throughout this film that do not lend themselves to rewatchability, and that's a huge factor for me when it comes to top 10 movies. I need to want to rewatch them over and over again, but overall, I really did enjoy the experience of watching this film. I thought it had some great performances from Adam Driver and Matt Damon in the film, and the final battle climax scene was pretty awesome. In all fairness, I think this film would have lent itself to be a better mini-series on HBO Max or Netflix, but yeah, let's go to the next one. Ghostbusters Afterlife is the Ghostbusters sequel we should have got back in 2016, but we're finally getting it now. This movie was delayed a few times, but overall I really had a good time with this movie. It definitely had that Stranger Things meets Ghostbusters vibe, but most importantly, it paid respect to the original films, and by the end of this film, you get a sense of closure, and it was nice to see some familiar faces once again. Shang-Chi. I love when Marvel can take a lesser known character and really establish him and make me care, unlike something like this. When it came to this film, I was surprised how much I really enjoyed it. When it came to the martial arts and fighting and choreography, I loved the way that this movie was filmed because it didn't feel like a lot of quick cuts and jump cuts. It felt like extended takes where you could actually get immersed into the action and what was happening, which is so rare nowadays in action films. So yeah, Shang-Chi got it right. The new Dune film is easily one of the best remakes ever made. I've never really gotten through the original 1980s Dune movie. I've tried 50 times, and I just can never seem to do it. When it comes to Dune, this is a sci-fi technical masterpiece, and it's just brilliant filmmaking. But with all that said, a lot of people love this film. I don't necessarily love it. I love looking at the movie. I will say, and I know this is my top 10 best of the year, but I still have some criticisms with the film. I do feel like some of the characters feel a little bit hollow, and I didn't really care about anyone in the movie. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to stand by it. But I really enjoyed the movie. It's beautiful to look at, and when I watched this on the big screen, I was just glued to it. And like I said, I do have a few nitpicks with the film, but nevertheless, that doesn't mean I can't still enjoy it. And the thing I really appreciate most about Dune is, it's a smart man sci-fi film, and we don't get enough of these nowadays, and I hope going forward, Hollywood makes more movies like this, and I know we are getting another installment of Dune, which I'm really looking forward to, and I highly recommend buying the 4K of Dune so you can watch it at home. I want to go look at it right now. After 3 long years of complaining on the internet, fanboys can finally rejoice because you won. We got Zack Snyder's Justice League, and was it worth the wait? Was it worth all the tweets to Warner Brothers? Well, yeah, it was, and I'm glad the internet won and we got a victory. The Snyder cut of this film gave us that tone we all wanted originally back in 2017, but now we have it. And by the way, this is also another great looking 4K, which I highly recommend. And I'm just happy to say at least we have a respectable Justice League film. Even if they don't go any further with anything they're doing in the DC universe, at least we have this. Quiet Place Part 2. When I first saw this film, I went to a press screening in Cleveland, Ohio, and at the very end of the screening, they had a huge surprise where John Krasinski, the director and also star of the film, came out and gave a quick Q&A. And during that, he said the reason he made A Quiet Place was he wanted to make this generation's Jaws. And I was like, okay, I can respect that. When it comes to A Quiet Place Part 2, I still prefer the original film over this one, but not to say this isn't a great sequel or great follow-up. It has a lot of great suspenseful moments, especially with the small kids in this one sequence where he gets trapped and he's running out of oxygen. Yeah, it puts you on the edge of your seat, and that's what movies like this should do, and I think it's so effective. 007 No Time to Die. This movie felt like it took 47 years to finally come out. I don't think there was any other film delayed more than this. But was it worth the wait? Overall, I would say yes, it was. It's not a perfect movie. I still prefer Casino Royale, but I really enjoyed watching this movie. Now, I know some people had an issue with the way that this film concluded, but for me, it felt like the logical conclusion for this incarnation of James Bond and Daniel Craig, and I actually didn't mind it. Sure, it could have been tweaked and twisted a little bit, but overall, I thought it was the logical conclusion. Now it's time to talk about my #1 movie of 2021, and I always find this so utterly insane how one year I can have some small independent film like Nightcrawler or Parasite as my #1 movie, and then other years it's one of the biggest blockbuster movies ever, it's Spiderman No Way Home. Now, going into this film, expectations were high, especially on the internet. This was supposed to be the second coming of Jesus Christ if Jesus Christ could shoot webs out of his hands. I don't think he had that power or that ability, but if he did, Would he wear spandex like Spider-Man? What am I talking about? I don't know. But overall, this film lived up to the hype, and that's so rare nowadays. And also, going back to that rewatchability factor, for me, that's when I know a movie's really good or I really liked it, because 2 days after seeing this film, I went back to rewatch it again, and I actually enjoyed it more this time around. Alright guys, those are my top 10 movies of 2021. Look out for my top 10 worst movies of 2021 coming very soon. But first, I have a question for you, and let me know down below, what were some of your favorite movies of 2021? Yeah, let me know that down below. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, that way I can see you next time. And then click some stuff right here so you can watch more videos. Yay!